time to start the episode.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Welcome to the podcast that takes a light-hearted look at money.
We dive into the wild world of spending and saving, the ups and downs of budgeting, money mishaps, and tips that actually work to help you keep your finances in check.
Whether you want to spend it wisely or widely, we look at how to get the right formula so you're never spending more than you need to or getting tripped up along the way.
I'm Charlotte Redding, product expert, master of multi-buys, and value for money enthusiast.
Have you been working on that?
I have.
And I'm Vix Leyton, the other half, consumer champion, prolific spender, and next day delivery devotee.
On this week's episode, it's a supermarket sweep. Why supermarket loyalty schemes are the real deal. And electric cars. They're not proving as popular as the government hoped. Should you get one? Helping us dissect the topics this week, we are joined by thrifty special guests, Stephen and Viv from Race Across the World. They're a package deal. Very good value.
Buy one, get one free.
Welcome to Spendology.
Hello, Stephen and Viv. Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
You made it here. How's your day been? Have you been shopping?
We have been shopping, actually. We've been to IKEA, or IKEA, I think it's meant to be called.
IKEA.
Oh, IKEA.
Oh, there we go.
IKEA.
Tell you what, the hot dog and the chips with a drink, great value. £2.90. Can't beat it.
Ooh, okay. Did you buy any furniture at IKEA?
We had a bit of a design session going on, wardrobe design. Our dressing room needs a bit of a refurb. So,
Our dressing room, I like that. I've only got 1/8 of it. Just saying.
We're not sponsored by IKEA, but we would like to be. IKEA,
Yeah.
if you are looking for a brilliant podcast about thrifty value with celebrity Race Across the World candidates Stephen and Viv, call us.
Get in touch. Now, the topic of the day. It's on everybody's lips. It's supermarket loyalty. I say on everybody's lips because Vix has done an awful lot of talking about it this week.
It's just on me. It's me. I care about supermarket loyalty. Are you supermarket loyalty card people, Stephen? and
Oh,
Viv?
most definitely. Tesco Club card even. I am, yes.
Any others? Have you got a wallet full of them?
I think we've probably got
Actually, we probably have, but
Dozens of-
don't tend to use them now. Just Tesco.
All right. So the others, you're just like, no, I just only want to pay full price. I want to pay the most I can pay.
No, never. No, actually. No, I do have M&S. I do have a few more Morrisons, but we just don't ever go
I think
shopping now.
They're all automated now on the computer systems, aren't they? So there's no need to get a card out.
Yeah.
No, you can get it on the apps. And that's part of what I've been talking about, actually, because the CMA, the regulators of spending and shopping, they looked at supermarket loyalty schemes and they've been looking at it for months because basically cynical people have thought that, can you believe it? The charitable, brilliant businesses that are supermarkets might be advertising prices that they've never actually charged to make the discounts look better.
No.
They would never do that to us.
Well, no, it turns out they wouldn't. Like, in an unexpected turn of events that no consumer expert could have predicted, actually 92% of the loyalty card deals, genuinely good deals. They are cheaper. They're bringing your basket down on average 17 to 25% cheaper than what you would normally pay in that shop.
Wow.
So supermarkets doing the right thing.
That's very good, yeah.
Shocking.
I was out shopping just the other night and I went to Tesco's and Aldi and Lidl. And I was dead impressed with Tesco's.
You know how to have a good time.
Well, I'm telling you, it was worth a visit. What struck me was the advertised price without a club card was silly money. I think a wrap of Cokes was like £7.50, but with a club card, it was £4.50. That's something massive difference.
That's drink, to be clear. Like, we are marketing people.
Not a wrap of Coke, like a wrap of Coke. Yeah. This is an audio medium largely, so Stephen is looking very unimpressed, and we're going to do a bit of audio description there of his unimpressed
Wrap of
face at the
Coke,
suggestion.
I see what you mean, yes,
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
They've
Like
caught
12 cans of
Yes.
Pepsi.
the price difference with the club card is so marked in places, and this is where people were largely complaining because the without club card price does look silly, but that is now just the inflated price.
My overall experience was the prices between the three supermarkets were the same. It didn't matter, except I felt Tesco had more on offer. It was a bigger store, to be fair. And yeah, it just seemed nicer.
Are you brand loyal people? When you say, you flip between Tesco and Aldi and things, obviously Aldi famously with their off-brand versions of regular brands.
I think we're brand loyal, and it's mostly Tesco's that you shop at, really, isn't it?
But I think you also like brand-specific sauces, for example. He's tried various brown sauces and none will cut the mustard.
Got to be HP.
Yeah, that's a given. None of that daddy's sauce.
So we have Tesco beans and things like that. I just won't spend the money for Heinz. It's just crazy money.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you absolutely will not deviate from?
Kellogg's cornflakes.
That's so specific.
No, you don't eat cornflakes anyway.
You're just making it up.
If I
man.
were to buy something,
Weetabix.
it has to be Kellogg's.
Stop
No, you
buying
don't.
own brand cornflakes and Stephen will eat them.
Weetabix minis I have, yeah.
Weetabix minis every time.
Yeah, and he's very, you're high brand on coffee, aren't you? Very high maintenance.
I'm an espresso man, I'm afraid, for my coffee.
Yeah.
Very, very high maintenance then.
yeah.
What's the price per cup for an espresso?
Varies between, I think, I've never told Viv this yet.
About
I
50
think
pence, I think.
it's between 68 and 82 pence per cup.
God, you are high maintenance. He used to drink Lidl coffee, decaf Lidl coffee, and a whole jar used to be about £1.80.
Well, we've gone up in the world, darling.
Well, that usually do about 40 cups. You do the maths.
Someone do the maths. It's
Yeah.
not going to be me.
It's not going to be me either.
So for the people that don't know, because we assume that when we're on these podcasts, basically we're just chatting to each other, but the rumour is other people are listening. So you were on BBC Race Across the World this time last year, actually.
It's
We
true.
just got home this time last year. Yeah.
And the Instagram frame, the next story was this is our wine delivery for Christmas. So that was extreme frugality. So do you
Yes.
think you learned anything about being frugal? Has it changed you in any way? Or if anything, are you a little bit more mindful of your home comforts?
I think we are naturally frugal. I think we just will balk at spending full price if we can get things for a bit of a discount or something thrown in, an extra bit of a bargain to make it better spending power, really.
I think we did realise how little you actually need to live on. It sounds really silly, but there's no bit of us that was any worse off for eating less, let's put it that way.
We actually spent less than all the other contestants as well. We had far more on our budget that we hadn't spent. So, yeah, we learnt to budget a lot better than
And
they
we
did.
successfully lost weight.
We did, yeah.
Because you weren't eating.
Pretty much, yes.
But you didn't get to take that money home in the end.
No, we
had to
didn't.
Blooming give it
No,
back
it's
after as
such a
well.
shame.
Feed off with that.
Yeah.
Did it not occur to you on the last night? Because you knew, didn't you, on the last night that you weren't gonna win. You weren't getting over the line. Did you not think we're gonna spend it up on our last destination? Let's find
You're
a
so
Michelin star.
driven. You're so driven to finish. You have to save your money because you don't know what's around the corner. You don't know what's going to be the next obstacle. And actually, where we finished off, there wasn't anything to spend the money on anyway. There wasn't any shops or anything. So you have to save your money until you never know. It's going to be one donkey ride, one cable car, one speedboat, one canoe. So we knew we needed that money. And actually, we spent 2 million, whatever it was,
On a speedboat.
on the
yeah.
speedboat and the last run home. So
What's that in British money? Help me understand.
I think it was
It's
60
about,
quid.
Yeah.
80
Oh, I
quid.
was going to say, yes, but I don't know. I have absolutely no
I
idea.
don't even know what currency
No,
it was. It's
no.
such a blur.
We just knew we had millions of them and we could spend 2 million.
It's not a bad metaphor for life, that, though,
Yeah.
is it? You never know what's around the corner, so splash the cash. It's a lesson that I will teach, but I will not learn.
Ever. But let's talk about that big Christmas wine delivery you did then when you got home. Are you bulk buyers?
Definitely.
Yes. If there's an offer, like Tesco have an offer, they do 25% off if you order 6 bottles. I mean,
Including
it's
champagne,
a no-brainer.
actually.
So actually,
yeah.
they bought
Oh, yeah.
24 instead of just
Yeah.
the 6.
Okay, so you get the deal from 6 and you bought 24.
I'm saving £8 on this, so I should spend thrice the amount.
Well,
Yes.
the week after it
Because
goes
then I
up in
save
money
even
again.
more.
And of course, we do have guests who come and drink rather a lot.
You're not going to throw it away, are you?
No.
Yeah, so
It
speaking
never
of,
goes off, does
yeah.
it? So, it's goodbye.
Don't know. I think sometimes it does. I have got some bottles. I won a bottle of pomaine in a church raffle that is before you even needed to put the units of alcohol on it or an expiry date. And I don't think it's been made since the 80s. So I'm holding on to it in case it's one of those items that might be worth something.
Yeah, I think that'll be
I
worth a lot of
I
money
actually
one
got
day.
really badly drunk on a bottle of pomaine when I was 15 years old. Never touched the stuff since. Oh, I drank it all to myself.
I'll be bringing
Yeah.
it round at Christmas.
Oh God, no.
But yeah, a church raffle. I also won the fruit hamper, and I tried to donate it back because I didn't want it, and the vicar really gave me the hard sell on it. It was
We
a
normally
good
do well
value.
in raffles, actually, as a general thing. Viv always enters the raffle. And I don't think we've been anywhere that we haven't won something. We
No.
won the Star Prize at the last time
Won
we
2
went
Star
out.
Prizes at
We
last
just-
year's
I don't
Burns
know why,
night.
just seemed to be lucky about it, I think.
yeah.
Use all of your lifetime of luck on small, irrelevant raffles.
I think the only thing I remember genuinely winning is a Joe 90 car. When I was a child, and you don't even know who Joe 90 is. Someone out there will remember Joe 90.
Glasses.
That's one. Geeky
Yes.
child, super brainy. Yeah, I won a Joe 90 car when I was a child. That's sort of one of the proudest moments that I can think of. Yeah.
I used up all my luck winning prizes. One year, I won things I didn't even know I'd entered a draw for. I won a signed Lucy Spraggan album. She's all right.
I've heard of it.
Never heard of her, but go on.
Exactly. She was on the X Factor. So I won that. I won a backstage experience with Calvin Harris before he was shiny Calvin Harris. He was just a British man, an average looking British man who'd had one pop hit. And it was a horrible experience. I couldn't find a friend to go because no one else liked Calvin Harris either. I crimped my hair because his song was It Was Acceptable in the 80s and he didn't understand the reference. So I think he just thought I looked like I hadn't bothered to brush it. And they wouldn't let me in the actual dressing room. It was a VIP experience. It was in a corridor at Cardiff Students' Union where they wouldn't open the door to the dressing room. Don't know what was going in there. Probably, I don't know, cans of Diet Coke. I'm speculating. Lots on offer
I'm
from
afraid I
Tesco.
don't know who he is either. Never heard of him.
Tall guy, ends up going out with Taylor Swift. So, you
Wow.
know,
Already
yeah.
jealous.
he did well in life in the end
yeah.
at Calvin. After meeting me, I like to think his life reached
Yeah,
Yeah.
You hit that trajectory
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
he met me and he thought, "Do you know what, I could do better. Next time Vix wins a prize, I wanted to really want it." Because at the time he smelt like old umbrellas. And
nice.
I tweeted about that and they printed it in GQ magazine. So Calvin, if you are listening, I am sorry. But you did. So, that's me in prizes. So people don't know, but actually, Charlotte, Stephen is your dad. So again, people don't know that. But they might be hearing you going, actually,
Yeah, I'm sorry
there's
about
a,
that.
there's
Charlotte's
a similarity.
look mortified
here.
now because I
Yeah,
think she was trying to keep this information
Yeah, no, I
quiet.
sort of was.
Well, people were
but
wondering, how did we get big names from Race Across the World,
Big
Stephen and
names.
Viv? Family favour is how we got them, actually.
He's been begging us to come on the podcast.
Oh, we were
That's
desperate to get on this podcast.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
telling you, it's what it's all about.
a hot new
Life is
thing.
about Spendology. I'm telling you, it's what I live for.
It sort of is, because you are the kind of person who, at any opportunity, you will ask for a discount.
I think that's genuinely right, and it's almost like a mentality, isn't it? It's an approach to what we do. We like
If you
to get
don't
value
ask,
for money.
you don't ask, you don't get as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think from the race, certainly, almost everywhere we go, we ask for old people's discount. And that's something we hadn't done previously. We want a discount, but actually that's a bit of a catchphrase now. Old people's discount, you know.
Yep.
And it works too.
Yep, you can get I think it's £1.50 soup and a coffee at Morrison's, and my dad's very excited about it. He can afford to pay more, but he's like, why should I?
Yeah.
I've survived this long. This is my reward. I'm gonna have my soup and I'm gonna have my coffee.
I got 10p off my lunch at IKEA today because I was a family member. 10p off every 10p
Loyalty
counts.
schemes.
Yeah.
But we've got to talk about Morrison's. Now that you've mentioned Morrison's, we
They're the
hate
worst.
Morrison's. We think they have got the worst loyalty scheme of any of the loyalty schemes.
Yeah.
Don't know that one. I do shop at Morrison's periodically.
Well, we used to when we lived there, but
Yeah.
we used to get petrol
You
from
lived
there as
in
well.
Morrison's.
Yeah, pretty
We
much,
used to live,
yes.
we lived right near there.
Actually, I know you go every year for their plants and their flowers.
Yeah, they
and
do
plants,
good
yeah.
outdoor plants. Yeah, bedding
But don't know
plants.
anything about their scheme.
The Morrison's More card. It used to be Morrison's Miles, and people would fill up with fuel there,
Yeah,
and you
that's
had
what
the,
we
the
used to.
Morrison's
Definitely,
Miles,
yes.
and you earn the points on that. But now there's the in-store More card, and in an effort to sort of copy Tesco's, they've done More card pricing.
Yeah, they could not have done less
Yeah.
for a product called
Really?
More.
Yeah.
You don't earn anything on every transaction, so you can do a whole shop of £80. If you haven't bought the items in this special list, you'll come away, you haven't even earned a point from it. Like, there's absolutely no value in shopping there unless you follow the map to the things that they want you to buy.
Oh, gosh.
They do weird shopping challenges as well. So I got a really decent offer because Charlotte loves toilet roll economics. So Charlotte will stand in front of all the toilet rolls and there's calculations going on, complicated calculations.
Per white per sheet, absolutely.
And now
Yes,
that there's double rolls now as well have made that even more complicated. So you've got double rolls, different ply, number of sheets per roll, price per sheet.
And you've got bits without the central bit in it.
Yeah.
Bits that don't roll around the thingy because they wiggle everywhere.
And you've got to pick those, and then is it the Andrex do a 12 pack that's 50%
where are you on the
double
multi-ply,
roll?
though? Because that's very important.
It's got to be 3-ply. It's 3-ply or it's no.
Yeah.
I deserve that. I'm at a stage in my life where I deserve 3-ply and I will not accept less.
But let me tell you about this exciting deal that Morrison's, in exchange for my personal data, in exchange for the right to push a notification to my phone like it's urgent news, 16 rolls of Andrex for just $4.95. How is that, Charlotte?
That's pretty good. 16 rolls of 3-ply, good quality Andrex, $4.95. That would be a deal I would be tempted by.
Yep. Ultimate Quilts. There's a cute picture of a dog on the front. It says family pack. Read on. For just $4.95, when you spend £45 in store, and you can only have one. You can have one 16-roll pack of Andrex for cheap in exchange for spending £45.
What's the normal price for it, though?
They say £8.50. But what gives them the confidence to put a spending threshold on a discount on toilet rolls? Other shops are saying, right, these are all half price. Please come fill up your trolley, do your big Christmas shop.
Okay, so I'd challenge you on that and say, how often do you go to Morrison's and don't spend 40 quid?
All the time. We don't shop there anymore because we've realised it's about the same price as Waitrose.
I would love to see Viv go out shopping and not spend £40. Actually, that'd be nice.
It's our local shop, for better or worse, unfortunately. So we've got the big supermarket, or we've got tiny rip-off newsagents, and it's a photo finish. But again, where do you stand? This is one I want to know. Where do you stand on value versus convenience? Like, how do you value time? Because my dad loves a loyalty scheme. He was on Waitrose one. Waitrose, nowhere near his house, but nonetheless, he would drive there once a month to get his free cake and have his free coffee. Now, that costs time and petrol, and he had to have it in Waitrose.
Saving.
I think, what are you saving, Dad?
We're sat opposite someone who I know would travel to Waitrose for a free coffee.
Yeah, you see, I have to say part of it perhaps is a stage of life where time is less important, and I can spend a bit more time of my own, a little bit of a drive, especially if you've got an electric car, drive a bit extra, have a nice coffee and a cake, take my time and enjoy myself. There's definitely something for that.
I have to say as well, value for money. So Stephen, when we left home this morning, took his coffee cup, his little coffee thing. When we got to IKEA, he rushed out because he knew that you could just press a button and get your free coffee. But I thought you had to pay for a cup. I thought you had to get some token or something, But he didn't. He had this little cup, and so he went and filled up his cup twice with
It didn't
coffee.
fit under the spout. I had to get a cup anyway to fill the cup to tip it into my other one.
But you got that coffee
I
that
got
you
that
were
coffee,
getting.
yes.
Yeah.
It was rather messed up, though, wasn't it, darling?
Do you just let him get on with it at that
No,
point?
No, it was fine. I got my free coffee, you see. But at this point, Viv said, I won't have one. I will have one. I won't have one. I will have one. Oh, all right, I'll have a hot chocolate. Oh, I might have a coffee. I might have. And eventually I had to buy a token for her, you see. So we wanted the free coffee. So we were going to have a little drink. But Viv wanted a hot chocolate. So it cost me £1 anyway. But yeah.
Is
What
she
price,
worth it?
love? Yeah.
Oh, gosh, worth 10 times that. Probably.
And you mentioned electric cars, Stephen. You're an absolute pro at podcasting because what a segue. So you've got an electric car. Talk to us about that.
We love it.
Before it was
yes,
cool.
this is our third electric car. No, genuinely love it. It's smooth, efficient, quiet, super performance. And that's what I think sold it for us, actually. I think it's a choice rather than just a financial decision. It really is. And it's not just about the environment. It's a choice that you actively have to make. Because I have to say, hand on heart, a petrol car's cheaper. It is.
See, this is what we're sort of looking at. So they've been in the news quite a lot recently because obviously the government have set targets on the manufacture and sale of electric vehicles. They've said that it would be 22% of them, the zero emissions vehicles by this year, 2024, 80% of them by 2030, and 100% of all cars sold must be zero emissions by 2035. New cars, yes.
But obviously you've got ULEZ on the other side, making it harder and harder to have cars on the road that aren't fuel efficient. So they're getting you both ways. So they're like, and the manufacturers are being penalised, and they're looking at, some of them are talking about closing down plants because people are not buying them at the rate that they are being mandated to make them, because the charging infrastructure is not there for everybody. So how have you found that?
We're quite fortunate that we have a charging point at home. So most of our mileage, we just go around local areas. And so we just do a little trip, come back, charge it when it gets a bit low. But we have had to charge a couple of times when we've gone sort of to Bournemouth, a bit of a longer distance. And once we found that the chargers were all being used and we couldn't actually charge at that particular point. So we had to drive on for about another 15 miles, and it got a bit tight. We were like looking at it, and we were turning off the heat and, sort of turning off the radio, trying to economise and, get more miles for our as far as we could go.
Overall, the experience has been very positive, and I think it is all so much outweighed by the performance we get out of the car.
But I do think the infrastructure, it's just not there.
No.
There really aren't enough chargers around the countryside.
Now,
although most people, 300 miles a day, that's a lot.
that is a lot of mileage.
Yeah.
I mean, sales are starting to grow. So at the end of 2023, it was said that the sales had gone up 23% from the previous year. So we are starting to see more electric cars being sold and traded. And I think the problem is they have to be new. You wouldn't necessarily go for an old electric vehicle because of the capacity, the battery power, combined with the infrastructure issues. I think there's more pressure to buy new. Did you buy yours new?
So,
Ish.
The first two, yes.
No. First one we didn't. The i3 wasn't.
Is it not? I thought that was brand new.
No, it wasn't. So, no, we've had 3, and the second one was brand new. Wouldn't buy a new one again.
Why?
I just think the sudden depreciation for any vehicle as soon as you drive it off the forecourt is so significant, it's not worth it. You can get a low mileage, almost new car for many thousand less than the new price. There are complications with electric cars because the battery life, and essentially it's a bit like leasing rather than buying, so you lose longevity of vehicle. It gets complicated, but the reality is, wouldn't buy a new one.
Because it is also, it can be a bit excluding. Obviously, we got here, parked in a space that had an electric charger. Brilliant. You're good to go. You have to download an app to use it. Now, does that mean that's quite prohibitive for people who are not that app savvy? And it's not an age thing, but
I think it is a bit of an age thing. We're getting used to it. We've got the confidence now to have a go. We've only ever, I think, charged out 3-4 times, perhaps max. We just don't need to. But actually, I think now, having done those couple of times, not a problem. We'll just charge up somewhere on the way. We'll stop for a coffee, plug it in and go. It's straightforward for us now.
How quickly does it charge? So what car have you got?
So we've got a Tesla Model Y. We had a Model 3.
We had a Model 3 before that.
And before that one,
It was a i3.
a BMW i3. So to
I'm
charge
nodding.
it fully,
I'm like,
right?
yeah.
Well,
The range of
Toy
our
cars.
first one.
yeah, the range of the first one was 80 miles.
Yeah, the i3 had like
80
a
miles?
petrol engine that you could put a little bit of petrol in, and it would literally like get you for 50 miles if the electricity ran out. But the electricity range was only
80
about
miles.
80.
Yeah.
So combined, it wasn't a great deal. It was 130 if you didn't have your heating on, and et cetera, et cetera. And so I don't know, but I would never let a car run out of fuel. And I would always, like, when it gets to a quarter of a tank, you then start thinking about filling it. Well, for us, when we were driving to start with, the tank wasn't much more than a quarter of a petrol tank, because you've only got 130 miles in it. So lots of petrol tanks are 400 miles. So straight away, I was sort of in panic mode, really. And as soon as it started getting anywhere near low, that would just be
90% of our driving is bimbling around local stuff, isn't it? The Teslas, we love them. It's a brand that we like, love the vehicle, the quality of the drive. It's fabulous. It's a super sporty, fast car. We love it.
And the range now, we get 350 miles.
Yeah, so we can fully charge it in about 20 minutes in a fast charger. But
That's
I can plug it in at
incredible.
your house and it'll take 24 hours to charge. So it does depend.
Not at our house. They'd steal the plugs.
You need a
They
long
would
wire,
steal the
wouldn't you?
plugs.
We also have the bonus. So we're with Octopus Energy, which means we can charge the car for free overnight. And this is a massive bonus. Because if you think, well, a couple of years ago, we were spending about £5,000 a year on fuel. That's marginal now. Literally, most of it's electric, and it's actually free fuel. So you've got the cost of the car, but the cost of the fuel to run it mostly is free. And that's a massive bonus, it just is.
And also a bonus is that when we go down to stay with people and we ask if we can just use their electricity to plug the car in, they pay for our fuel back then.
Has anyone ever said no?
No, we have a friend who said no to visitors he had, definitely.
And they're not a friend now.
Well, have they come back?
Well, he was a bit miffed, but, you know, it costs money. If you charge your car fully at home, I think it's about £12. So, you know, you do it 2 or 3 times, you're giving away a lot of money.
They ended up sending them to Tesco car park where they had chargers and they had to sit there for an hour while it charged.
So what would you say is the biggest drawback of an electric vehicle?
Range anxiety.
Range anxiety?
Yeah.
Viv's stressing out now.
Yeah, I
Viv's
know.
already thinking, we've driven this many miles up here.
I know, we haven't got enough to get back. I know we haven't got enough to get back.
I think when we
don't
first
have enough.
started with electric, we stressed a little bit. But actually, I'm not that bothered now.
So
'cause
we
I
will have to
know
charge on the way back.
we can find somewhere and it'll just be stopped for a while and charge it
know.
up.
So you think about that every time you leave the house?
But you've got to, but same as running out of petrol. You think about it all the time, don't you? So it's no different. It's just the availability of fuel stations is greater, and that's all there is to it.
Although most, I think, petrol station forecourts and things now have, most motorway services, don't they, have a little...
I think motorway services do. I don't know about forecourts. We've never charged in a forecourt. Normally we find a cafe or a restaurant.
So we've talked about now 2 things where if you have a mobile phone, you're app-based for, and you've said, you know, you think that it can be a bit excluding, it can be a bit intimidating. Where do you stand on kind of the digital revolution of things? Do you think do we need paper bills still? Where are you? Where are you on this argument? Because there's a lot
We're
of
quite
conversation
techie,
on
both
it.
of us, I think.
Yeah, we are quite
And
paperless.
We try and embrace technology where we can. And I think for the most part, we sort of keep up. We like change. We like to do new things. And we make a point of trying to get involved. Because if you don't, you quickly just lose your way. I think the hardest thing sometimes is signal. It sounds really silly, but we've been in car parks when you can't download the app to pay because there's no
Norfolk
signal.
car park. Yeah, you're trying to download the app in order to pay because it's all money free. It's just you can't get a signal there. So and then you end up
North
getting a
Norfolk
£30
coast.
fine.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I've seen people having to buy new tickets because they haven't been able to charge their phone to show people their digital tickets. And I'm sat behind them going, but for the grace of God, that could be me. But yeah, it just feels like if everything's digital, they should have a record of it somewhere. And it always frustrates me because it's like, I know that you've got little barcodes and all of these that are attached to names because that is how I get all my delay repay compensations. So why can't they kit them with computers that actually...
We need to learn, darling, what's a delay repay
delay
What's
repay.
that?
You need to listen to... Is it episode 1?
Yeah, episode 1. You haven't listened?
Oh, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Is this a joke? I can't believe you've done
We
this to us.
started, didn't we?
We did.
Just stop.
I'm not going to tell you which episode they're on because you can find out together. But
Yeah,
yeah.
a bit busy. I've been ill.
I was fixing the car.
For 5 weeks. Okay.
I can't, unbelievable.
We've been away for 3 of them. I've been ill for 1.
You have been away on holiday. I will let you off.
Thank you.
For not having
We
listened
did
to
treat
it.
ourselves to another little frivolous purchase.
What's that?
Well, it's a petrol car, actually. It's about a 20-year-old car that I'm going to put in the garage and do up. So
You said that like it was a bag of sweets.
Well,
just a little
I've
purchase.
treated myself to a little car.
yeah.
Go on.
No, it's just a little
What's-
sports car. It's a
what's it
Daihatsu
called?
Copen. It's called Lola. It's a 650cc engine. It's a little rocket, sits in the garage, and it's going to be beautiful.
I used to have one 20 years ago. And it's a little noddy car and it is absolutely beautiful. And mine was green, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
this one's bright red.
But now we've gone for a bright red one with bright red seats. And it just took me back 20 years when we saw it, didn't it? So, yeah, that's our
Lots of
little,
fun.
our
Honestly,
little
you'll
fun
love it.
treat.
Yeah.
I will be taking that for a test drive when it around the village.
I think the range on a full tank is about 300 miles or something, isn't it?
That's plenty.
So you've talked about 20 years now, and you put up a picture of yourselves 20 years ago on Instagram. So you're clearly sort of thinking back to that era of your life. What would you tell yourselves now if you could have a quick chat
Oh,
with
gosh.
those people when you were driving around in your little
You know, I
red
think all the
roller skin?
cliches are true. Just stop worrying, just go with the flow. That's the biggest thing, isn't it?
I
Would
think I'd
you-
probably do most of the same things again, actually. As maybe a couple of houses that that we lost at the time. And I think a couple of them were right that we lost them, but there's a couple that you just think, I would have gone the extra mile to have got that house, sort of thing. But no, I think we couldn't have imagined where we would end up now.
I think also there's a
20 years ago.
mindset, isn't there, that makes you say it's no good worrying about it because it's past, but also you base your decisions on what you know at the time. So you can't undo things, and actually, hindsight's wonderful. Who has hindsight?
Yeah.
Best super skill you can get, isn't it?
Would you spend differently? I mean, when you look back on the race and you had all that money left over at the end, you might have thought, knowing what we know now, we'd have spent differently.
I think we would have spent a little bit differently if we'd known we would end up with that much left. I mean, we had nearly 10% of our budget left over after 8 weeks.
That's the game, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't know what's
You don't
coming
know.
next.
But
so-
applying that to the 20-year question, other than the houses, would you spend differently? Would you worry more or less about money?
I honestly don't think I
It's
would.
a mindset.
Because I just won't spend the money. I have to get extra value for it.
But when we first met, Viv was very clear. She literally, we did a sales pitch for each of us. So Viv's, don't knock it, this is very important. Viv's sales pitch was, I'm low maintenance, she said. Don't spend any money, don't do my hair, don't do my nails, I'm low maintenance. It was her biggest asset. It was a great winning sentence for me. I thought it's great. She's a keeper. That's it. I mean, it's not wholly true. I've worked that one out, but at the time it was important.
What was Stephen's?
Well, his was the same, actually. Well, he was, cheap, I think. In actual fact, now he's turned a corner and he has become high maintenance.
You've
his
encouraged
coffees,
me.
He now gets his hair cut. He goes and sits down looking like a king on a throne with his robe around
Look,
him.
my hair could
He has
cost
his
me
hair done.
£10 and that includes
But
a
that's every
£2
month.
tip.
That's every month.
Do they also do your eyebrows now?
Yeah,
They
they,
do, my eyebrows, yes.
and his ears.
More and more areas needed.
Yeah, it happens.
It does. I found a hair in the middle of my cheek that I
I
had
wonder
to
where you were
pluck.
going with that one.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of my
A
cheek.
face cheek.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just checking.
Yes,
Wow.
I didn't think I had to specify because you're Charlotte's parents, but here we are. Right in the middle. I thought I had a hair that had fallen off my head that had fallen onto my face.
And your cheek moved with it.
Came within. I was like, oh, this is the end. This is the
Wow.
end. This is the beginning of the ends. Full beard by the end of next year. I think.
No.
But
Speaking of the passage of time, we've got our little game to play. What is it, Vix?
it is now versus then.
Then
So we-
versus now.
now
versus
then.
then.
Yeah, see.
It's necessary.
That's the spirit I'm looking for, Charlotte. Right, Viv, you're hosting the next one with me. You're out, Viv's in.
Now, on the topic of electric vehicles, I've done some reading about the electric vehicle that really kicked off our love of it in the turn of the millennium, and that is the Toyota Prius,
Oh, yeah.
which was the first fully hybrid car that made everyone start going, "Oh, these are okay." Now, I want you to first guess for me how much the first Prius was when it was distributed in, I think, 2000. Yeah, I think it was made in 97 or something in Japan and distributed worldwide in the year 2000. Now, we've used the Bank of England's inflation calculator to determine what the spending power in today's money would be. So I would like to know what you would have spent back then, and then I'll tell you what that would have cost today or either.
That was such an eco-swap car
I'm
at
going
the
to
time.
go 49,999.
No discussion whatsoever. Viv does not get to play.
Oh, it has been discussed.
No, you can both-
What do you
you-
think, darling?
I was going to go for 10,999.
It's quite cheap.
I bet the range on it was rubbish. It was one of those cars, though. It was for eco-swats. It was for people
It
like
was-
Leonardo DiCaprio who could afford to care about the planet for thousands of pounds and maximum
It
inconvenience.
was not a high performer.
No.
But it was a pivotal car in the world of electric vehicles.
0 to 60,
So have we gone too
17
high?
seconds.
Used to be shorthand for like vegan people
Oh,
would
yeah.
drive a Prius. Like that's,
Absolutely. Hippies. The
Hippies.
Prius was for hippies. So I can tell you, when it first released, I've got the US price, which was about $20,000. The exchange rate at the time was about 1.52. So we are looking at about £35,000.
No, you've gone the wrong way.
wrong way.
Good man.
Wait, other way.
£15,000.
£15,000.
Yes.
Oh, you were right.
which in today's money is a spending power equivalent of about £30,000. So what does the latest Prius cost? Right now, the new 2025, 2024 plates.
44,999.
39.
Viv's pretty much bang on. It's most of the time 39,995. So between 37 and 40 really is the price.
That's one all then, isn't it? You got the first one right and I got the second one right.
So we've got something that's actually in spending power gone up quite significantly, but I imagine the performance.
This is to do with mass production, though, isn't it? It's becoming more acceptable, more usable, more available.
Do you think we'll see old electric cars on the road in 40 years, like you have your little
Noddy car?
So this is where I said earlier on that the problems of buying electric now is to do with the battery. So that the lifespan of the batteries, we just don't know because we haven't had them long enough. But they're saying, it's warranted for 100,000 miles, blah, 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 blah. What happens? The cost of the battery.
Do you not just get a new battery?
Well, that's the most
in,
expensive part of the car. So to change the battery on our car is almost the value of the car. So there's a point at which the car will significantly lose resale value.
Feels like everybody's car insurance is going to go up in a few years' time when engineering failure on the inside writes off things that are chassis perfect. But that's just because I know about car insurance because I worked in it for years. And I wonder how this will affect the premiums.
Car insurance, don't get me started on car insurance. My car insurance was due last week. So,
we won't drive it insured. I'll drive it insured.
I'll stop. That's okay.
We'll have to have you back.
That's okay.
You can come back next time and talk about that.
When we said if we got things that you want to talk about, you could have said we could have done a whole show on it.
I can
AA membership.
Slip it in there if you want AA membership. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Don't.
That's actually a lovely teaser for what we've coming up next week, actually. So, thanks for that. So if you care about breakdown cover and AA, you might want to listen in next week. So we're almost done, Charlotte. Can you believe it?
No, I absolutely cannot. I feel like we've been here for hours.
I feel I've been here 2 minutes. What's happened?
Hey, that's not how we get guests to come back.
No, it's not. It's been wonderful to have guests, and it's been a real treat for us. Have you had a nice time with us?
Yeah, coffee's gone cold.
Yeah, we've had a lovely time. It's just gone too quickly.
I know. Honestly, it feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So what's next for Stephen and Viv then? If people enjoyed this, where can they find more of your antics? What are you up to?
We're holidaying. We love holidaying. It's the big thing for us at the moment. We have a very specific shelf life. So we want to enjoy our shelf life while we still can.
We said, where can people find you? So basically you've said abroad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably not at home very much.
Yeah. No, we've sort of got...
They can find us at Stephen and Viv on Instagram. And our antics get posted on there regularly. Next week, specifically, we will be going to Lanzarote. Ooh, cheap holiday. 12
How
nights.
cheap?
We've got several things in the pipeline next
Quite
year,
cheap.
but we'll announce as and when. We've got 3 or 4 different holidays next
I think
year.
the flight's back. I even extended our holiday. It was meant to be 7 days. And I saw that the flight back was £28. So I changed the flight and we're coming back 5 days later. And it's cost us £300 for an extra apartment or to stay in the apartment for an extra week. So 328 twice,
Should we go? Should we book?
£356.
I think it was a 4-bed apartment too.
Surprise!
Looks like we're going on holiday. Well, that was Spendology.
If you liked it, please tell friends about it, tell family about it, tell your enemies, tell your parents who claim that they've listened but they haven't. Give them another chance.
Hopefully people will find it and listen to it. You can find us online at spendologypod.com and at spendologypod all over social media. Give us 5-star reviews. Follow us online, not in person.
Oh, if you see me on the street, say hello. I'll feel really special. No. Or not, whatever. You're looking at me like maybe not. Okay, well, what a weird end to the podcast this has been. But end it we will. This has been Spendology. We'll speak to you next week.